Michael Thomas is officially back and healthy after missing the last 2 seasons, and we're going to get into the impact Thomas could have in 2022, along with the New Orleans Saints, and if they can be a good team next season. If you are new here, consider subscribing and dropping a like on the video if you guys do enjoy it. I apologize for no uploads the last couple of days. I've been recovering from surgery and have not felt up to making a video, but I'm feeling better and I didn't want to wait any longer to get out some content for you guys. So with all that being said, let's hop into the video about Michael Thomas and the New Orleans Saints. The Michael Thomas experience has gotten really interesting over the past couple of years. Thomas entered the league with Drew Brees, who we know is one of the best quarterbacks of all time, and immediately took the league by storm, putting together 4 1,000-yard seasons in a row, including an amazing back-to-back stretch of seasons starting in 2018 when he had 125 catches, 1,400 yards, and 9 touchdowns. And then he followed that up with 149 catches, setting the NFL record with 1,700 yards and 9 touchdowns. And you could not find many people that did not have Michael Thomas as a top 3 wide receiver in the league. He was one of the most unstoppable weapons in the entire NFL, and him and Drew Brees were really a top dynamic duo for the wide receiver and quarterback positions. And with Drew Brees returning for the 2020 season and the Super Bowl window for the Saints still being open, many people were eager to continue to watch that duo for at least one more year while Drew Brees was contemplating retirement. But unfortunately, 2019 was going to be the last time we really saw Drew Brees and Michael Thomas connect throughout an entire season. Thomas suffered an ankle injury in the first game of the 2020 season, which led him to missing a subsequent 4 games. And although he was cleared to come back to the field from that initial injury, he suffered a hamstring injury in practice that caused him to miss 2 more games. Upon his return, Thomas played 6 more games, but he never caught more than 9 passes in a single game. Against the Eagles, his ankle injury flared up again, and he missed the rest of the regular season. Thomas finished the year with 40 catches, 438 yards, and 0 touchdowns, and he returned for the playoff game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where the Saints actually lost. It was Drew Brees' last game. Michael Thomas did not even record a catch in the game, battling that severe ankle injury. But heading into the 2021 season, he had ankle surgery, and there were optimism about his return halfway through the year. That was a huge storyline last offseason. Sean Payton was not happy that he took so long to get surgery, and there was some back and forth. Michael Thomas at a point requested a trade. He wasn't happy with the front office, but really the only thing important to note there was Michael Thomas did not play at all last season. He rehabbed his ankle throughout the entire year, and many people were skeptical if he was even going to be ready for the start of this season. But earlier this week, the Saints removed him from the PUP list, and Michael Thomas is expected to start in week 1 this season. There were many viral clips of Michael Thomas and Jameis Winston getting their chemistry together. We also saw some nice routes from Michael Thomas in practice, and it was just a great sign to see him back healthy. We haven't seen any footage of Thomas with the Saints or practicing for over a year now, so it was a very cool thing to see one of the best players in the league a couple years ago finally practicing and getting back to form. Thomas was asked about finally being back and being able to practice with the team, and he said, "Man, I'm kind of a loss for words. I didn't want to come up here and get emotional or anything, but it was a blessing to be back out there with the guys." And that was actually the first time he spoke with the media since the 2020 season. So you can imagine how Michael Thomas is feeling, doing all the routine things that NFL players do, which he hasn't done in over a year. It's got to feel pretty relieving to finally be able to do all that stuff again. Dennis Allen was also asked about Michael Thomas, and he said, "I thought he looked good. I think we've still got to be smart with him as we go throughout training camp. But I thought it was a good start having him out there on the first day. I was excited about seeing number 13 walk out on the field." And that quote from the Saints' new head coach is a perfect segue into what they did this offseason. They had a lot of turnover, including at the head coach position. Sean Payton, the legendary coach who's been there for so long now, decided to retire, and Dennis Allen, who's been the team's defensive coordinator for a few years now, got promoted to the head coaching gig, and he will be taking over for his 2nd head coaching job in his career. He coached the Raiders about a decade ago, was not too successful, but we'll see if he's more successful his 2nd time around. But a new head coach is not the only thing that Michael Thomas is going to have to get used to. The team is completely different from when he last played, and it starts with the quarterback position. Jameis Winston is now the starting quarterback for the Saints. Last time Thomas played, he was teaming up with Drew Brees. But Jameis had a redshirt year in 2020 behind Drew, learned some things from the Hall of Fame quarterback, as well as got some coaching from Sean Payton. And I was pretty impressed with Jameis last year and the limited snaps that he played before tearing his ACL. Winston completed 59% of his passes for 1,170 yards, 14 touchdowns to only 3 interceptions with 100 102.8 quarterback rating. And talent has never been the issue with Jameis. He was the #1 overall pick out of Florida State for a reason. He was often a bit too turnover prone, and that's really why he didn't stick around and stay in Tampa Bay. But he was having a really good year last year. I'm going to be very curious to see how he steps into the fold now and does things without Sean Payton. Payton solidified himself as one of the best quarterback whisperers in the league with a very quarterback-friendly offense. He's known for tailoring it to your quarterback's strength. He did it with Drew Brees, who had some limitations as a passer, and he really helped Jameis develop, and I'll be very interested to see if that sticks with him this year and if he can recover and come back from that knee injury and still be the same player that we saw last year. But I'm really impressed with the weapons that they have surrounded him with. I mean, last time Michael Thomas played, it was really him and Alvin Kamara, and that was basically the entirety of the Saints' weapons. This offseason, they went out and addressed that. The Saints signed Jarvis Landry, the former LSU wide receiver, bringing him home to be their slot wide receiver. And then in the draft, their first pick they traded up to get him was Chris Olave out of Ohio State. So now you have two brand new weapons with Michael Thomas, and that is a great wide receiver trio. You still have Alvin Kamara in the backfield, who's a top 5 back in the league. He may get suspended. There's an investigation going on right now about his legal situation. But the Saints also have Mark Ingram, who I think is a very solid running back too. So the weapons will not be an issue for Jameis in his production next season. He's got a very good supporting cast, and I also think that the offensive line for the Saints is solid up front. It was rated the 18th best according to Pro Football Focus last year, but there has been a couple changes on the line I want to note. The right side of the line is ridiculous. Ryan Ramczyk at right tackle, Cesar Ruiz at right guard, and Eric McCoy at center is very solid as well. Andreas Pete will be back and healthy this year, sliding in at left guard. And James Hurst, who filled in for Taron Armstead a lot last year, he'll be back at left tackle, and I definitely think this is going to be an above average unit next season. The Saints' second round pick was also Trevor Penning out of Northern Iowa at tackle. I don't think he's going to start right away. He's been kicked out of 3 practices already for fighting with defensive teammates. He's got some great intensity. He plays until the whistle, but I do think he needs to learn to turn that off going against your own team. But the Saints will bring Penning along, and I'm sure he'll excel to being one of the better tackles we have in the league. He's got tremendous upside, and the Saints are really good at developing linemen. And then the Saints defense, they brought back a lot of their starters. They did lose Marcus Williams and Malcolm Jenkins, but they replaced that tandem with Tyrann Mathieu, also bringing the former LSU native home, pairing him with Marcus May. They brought Mathieu in on a 3-year, $33 million deal with $18 million guaranteed, which I think is a pretty good deal for the Saints. And then May was brought in on a 3-year, $28.5 million deal. May was actually a very good safety before getting hurt with the Jets a couple of seasons ago, so I think their safety tandem is definitely going to be just fine. In the draft, the Saints spent their last premium pick on Alontae Taylor out of Tennessee. I don't expect he'll get a ton of snaps this year, but he'll take over for one of these cornerbacks down the line. The defensive line is still very solid. Cameron Jordan, Shai Tuttle, David Onyemata, and Marcus Davenport is a good front four, and their linebacker unit with Pete Werner and Demario Davis is very solid. And cornerbacks, the Saints still have a very solid wide receiver one eraser, Marshawn Lattimore, one of the best slot cornerbacks in the entire league with CJ Gardner-Johnson. And also Paulson Adebo is known as one of the most under the radar players we have in the entire NFL. I'm a huge fan of this defense, and I think it has a chance to be a top 10 unit in the league, but I like the pieces the Saints brought in this offseason, and I think if some of these key players can stay healthy for them this year, they can be a real threat in the NFC. The NFC is not a super deep conference. I would honestly be pretty surprised if the Saints are not able to sneak in as a wild card. I still believe Tampa is the class of that division. They still have Tom Brady for at least one more year, so I think the Saints may be a couple games behind them, but I do see another playoff appearance for the team this year, and if they can stay healthy and build chemistry with all their new players that they acquired this offseason, I definitely don't think any team will want to see them in the NFC playoffs. But thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you guys are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and drop a like on the video if you guys did enjoy it. But let me know what you think of Michael Thomas and his return from injury, and also let me know what you think of the Saints and if they can make some real noise in the NFL this year. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.